Episode 6, or as the Germans say, sex.
Fantastic. Welcome back. Right, this evening we've got Amuse-Bouche's Funhouse, starters timekeeping, the main course is Ofsted, and for dessert we got ratatouille.
And on we go.
On we roll.
Okay, it's a little amuse-bouche, and I had to say that I just crawled out of my childhood into my 40-year-old body. I was really excited. So we're in a kitchen, and there was someone who looked familiar in the restaurant. So the manager came along, she goes, "You wouldn't believe who's in the restaurant." I said, "Who's that?" She goes, "It's not only Pat Sharp, is it?" I thought, oh my God, I've got to go and say hello to him immediately. But I wasn't allowed out there, banned immediately. I'm not allowed anywhere near the doors. So I thought it'd be quite a nice touch. You know, when we do those little treat plate or truffles or whatever for happy birthday, happy anniversary, I thought it'd be nice to do some chocolate writing saying Funhouse on it. And I thought, it's either going to go two ways. He's either going to think it's a nice gesture, or it's going to be like, oh God,
not again.
Oh, leave me alone.
Another one.
So I did up this nice thing. We sent it out there, and he was overwhelmed by it. But he was actually getting loads of pictures from the guests out there as well. They were sort of huddling around him and getting pictures at the same time. But he waited for me.
Good.
So when he had finished his dessert and all that, he came up and with his wife, and I went out to see him. And he was very slim. I thought when they get, rich and successful, they'll get, sort of along my figure line. But no, really posh as well. Really posh.
You wouldn't have thought that, would you?
No, I wouldn't have thought it. I was expecting him to go, "Oh, mate," and all that, but he wasn't. He was like, "I really, really, really enjoyed that food." I have to say, it was just, I thought, who is this guy's brother? Is this part of some wind-up? But what I really wanted to ask, and you know what you're going to ask, is we're both idiots at times. I'm not going to use the correct language, but I really wanted to ask, so what are the twins like? They were my first crush. But, his wife stood there, and I just went like, "Did you ever shag them?" But I couldn't ask. I was like, she's just, she's all like smiley and, "Oh, my husband's getting loads of attention and all that." And I was just thinking, these things are coming up. And what happens when the cameras go off? After you've been doing it, I looked it up, it was like 11 years it was running. And what happens when the cameras go off? Do the twins start karate chopping the producers because we're all falling out with each other?
Do you know the woman who used to run events at a hotel we used to work at? She went on Funhouse. So I was amazed, blown away. We were chatting about stuff, and one day it came out in conversation that she went on Funhouse. I was like, that must have been like, as a kid, you wanted a Mr. Frosty ice maker pudding thing for Christmas, or Rebound 4x4 remote control car, and you wanted to go on Funhouse. Like, that was it.
Yeah, I didn't know anyone who didn't watch it.
Like, everybody wanted to go on Funhouse. Yeah. But she did it. Well, did you like my comment on your Facebook post?
I was going to ask you about that next.
Well, see, my thing. See, if I was the waiter, what you should have done to get the waiter, waitress, whoever, just to explain what I meant was to say, "Oh, I'd like to order the steak." And then you just go, "Oh, I think the chefs might have run out. Just hold on a minute. I'll just go in the kitchen and check." Nip in the kitchen, count to 5, count to 10, go back out. I've spoken to the chef about the steak. Yeah. What's the situation? "We've got 1, 2, 3. Yay!"
That'd be brilliant. That'd be brilliant.
But no, it's me.
If the staff weren't so deflated, you could probably get them to do that out there, but one after the other. But yeah, not on this occasion.
But there we are. Glad he enjoyed his meal.
Yeah, me too. Can we leave me out of this one?
Not for us, the people inside. This is for the guests. So this is. I've been saying it for years and years and years, but like when people rock up considerably late for a table, and I think, what do they do for a living? What profession do you work in where if you just rock up half an hour late, whatever, that it's okay? Like in any other profession, you rock up to, I can't think of one. If I come up with an example of you go to the doctor's half an hour late, they're going to take the piss off. If you, anything you ever do, if you arrive half an hour later than you're supposed to, like all these people that do it. So, somebody comes in the restaurant, "Oh yeah, sorry, I had a table booked. I was supposed to be here 45 minutes ago, but I'm late." But why can't the restaurant staff just say to them head on, "Yeah, what do you do for a living?" Because What do you mean? What do you do for a living? Oh, plumber. Oh, okay. What would you do if someone had said, can you come to my house and fix the wife's tap? And then they say, oh, I'll meet you there at 1 o'clock. And then they get back to the house at 1:45 and go, oh yeah, sorry, I'm late.
Yeah.
You're going to charge them 45 minutes because my microphone's having issues with it. You're going to charge them because you've wasted 45 minutes. Like, and in any given anything, you'd kick off about it.
Well, I just find it so bloody rude. And half of them are so blazing about it. They didn't even bother to phone up and say they're going to be late.
No, and we do it as well, obviously, but it's just an accepted norm, isn't it? It doesn't matter. And, it's guests in hotels, the worst one. Or the people booking the guests in who go, oh, it's full at 7:30. Oh, we want to come at 7:30. What we'll do is we'll book you in at 7:45 and then just arrive at 7:30. Brilliant. And they all do it anyway. Or we're full at 7:30. Well, we'll book you in for the 6:45 slot, but just arrive at 7:30 and it'll be fine. Because they have no idea of the operational pressures of us getting absolutely slammed.
No, exactly.
But I just find it very odd that nobody ever, in any other job, in any other profession, any other thing, if there's a time, you generally stick to it. If your car's booked in for an MOT, you get there for when the MOT's booked. If you're going to the dentist, you get there in time for the dentist. If you're doing anything else, you do it. If you're going to watch a bloody show or go to the cinema or something, well, if you're late, you've missed the start. You haven't.
Well, the main pass in the kitchen, for anyone who doesn't work in the kitchen, that is the dead giveaway in real time of what's going on with the bookings. Because a well laid out, well structured, everybody on time, that pass should look, just a few tickets on, everything passing out, no pressure, not too much pressure, and everyone happy, staff flowing. But when a whole raft of customers decide to turn up whenever they want, all of a sudden that checkboard is just rammed. And it's just like everyone's under pressure. Mistakes could be being made at some point. Problems in the restaurant. And it has a knock-on effect.
It's huge. And the other part of that is the fact that the restaurant staff are then busiest. They haven't got time to communicate with the kitchen. But restaurant staff need to take some bloody responsibility for this as well, because they just let them sit down and go, oh, never mind, slam them all in anyway. And then, so that's annoying. And then they never bother to tell you, how many times in my life I said it, but if you just had a load of tables walk in, it would take you 10 seconds just to head for the door and go, FYI, guys, we've just sat 25 covers, 30 covers, 50, whatever you've just sat. If it's a large swathe of people, just give us a heads up, because then we know, okay, we're about to get a load of checks on at the same time, and then you group things as they come through. But they never do. They just get check on, and it's just, I don't know. Oh. It's a nightmare, really.
Yeah.
But it's the arrogance of that it doesn't make any difference. And I can't think of a single, if anyone else can think of a single other trade or a single other thing where, if you don't do bookings, if you're just a drop-in restaurant, come in whenever, fine, no problem. But if you've booked a table and there's time slots and the rest of it for a smooth service, other things in life that you have to book, if you turn up after the event or whatever, or after the time, you're going to get told, well, if we can manage it, you can still have the thing. But if you can't, tough luck.
Well, it's different with the brewers' fairs and and places like that, and the Weatherspoons, because half it's in the microwave or the deep fat fryer anyway, and it's just dumped on the plate. That kind of stuff you can walk in on. But when you've got a few chefs that are doing intricate things and everything has to be exactly the same as it goes out and presented nicely, it takes time. Yeah. That's why we have that booking system, really, to make sure that everybody who books can get a seat.
Yeah. And you've booked to come to this restaurant because you want the experience of going to that nice restaurant. Yeah. If you wanted to just place that you don't need to book, like a Weatherspoons or whatever, then you could just go there and you don't need to book, and it's fine. But it's just bloody annoying.
I'll just turn up properly and punctually.
Just do what you're supposed to. If you're supposed to be there on time, get there on time. Oh. That's all my real rant is about it. It's just
turn up on time.
Or before you press your button and we go on to the next bit. Or do we think that we can just make it acceptable that if you are late, that the person who's controlling the bookings can just start a little list and just start going, okay, sorry, late, no worries. What do you do for a profession?
Yeah.
And maybe, I know there's people that work in front of house that listen to this podcast. Could you do that for us? And if people turn up late, let's say more than 15 minutes late for a table. If anyone turns up to your restaurant more than 15 minutes late, don't need their name, but can you just say to them, we're just doing some market research. What do you do for a living, if you don't mind my asking? And then just ask them what they do, jot it down, and then send it to us. letters for checkon@hotmail.com.
great.
We'll start compiling a little list, and then we can just figure out why it's acceptable.
You see, my co-host, main presenter, whatever you want to call it, likes to have the political side of things. I prefer the direct approach. If you're leaving your job and this is your last day and you don't care how you're leaving, can you just berate them?
Well, that too, yeah.
Berate them in the open. Public shaming. I think we should make that fashionable again, public shaming. But yeah, just go at them.
Or if you're a student and you're about to go off to uni for a couple of months and you've got time will heal before you come back for the next season, feel free to go all in.
And if you can get some audio recordings, that'd be great. Right.
Ofsted. It's in the news at the minute. Everyone's
dun, dun, dun.
Well, you want for that? You can get some Grange Hill music in the background, can't you?
Grange Hill. Now, I have no idea what I'm going to do for that, but by the time they listen to this podcast, there's going to be something playing right now.
Excellent. Do you know, I went to, completely off topic here now, but went to Alton Towers years ago, stayed in the Alton Towers Hotel, and the night we stayed there, we only stayed there one night, we went into the bar, have a couple of drinks, and there was this group of people there, and one of the people that we were with was like, oh, that's the kid who tried to commit suicide the other day, and we're like, what are you on about? And there was a kid who'd apparently tried to kill himself in Grange Hill. He'd filled his school bag with books or something heavy. I don't know, books probably wouldn't float, but anyway, he filled his bag with stuff and jumped in a swimming pool and tried to drown himself. Anyway, it turned out that the whole cast of Grange Hill were in Alton Towers filming something, and a lot of them were underage, and I was probably about 19 at the time, and then they were getting fairly smashed in the bar, and then a load of them had a load of cocaine on them, and it was like, these are all the kids that were in the cast of Grange Hill, and then the teachers were there, and then we ended up getting rather inebriated with them, but one of my friends was, I won't name names because I don't want to shame him for the act, but we were sat there having a perfectly normal-ish conversation around the table. And midway through the conversation, he just threw up on himself, just midway through talking.
Oh.
And another friend stole the sunglasses off of a lady who was looking after the kid in the wheelchair. And then claimed they were actually his sunglasses and that she stole his. Anyway,
something out of between us.
We're straight away from Grange Hill. Ofsted, that was where we're going with that.
Yes.
So I had a message from a friend the other day saying about the fact it's a stressful time of year because Ofsted are due and all the rest of it. And then yesterday or the day before, the wife was watching television and it was Jeremy Vine's show and they were talking about things and they were going on about Ofsted and how it's really problematic and they've got to change the scoring system or the whatever. So apparently, as I understand it, which is probably entirely wrong, but we'll run with it.
See where we end up.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story. Right?
That's great.
So it used to have a system which was like 0 to 100%, and if you're 100%, you're great. If you're 0%, shut your school. And then it was too vague. So then they said, oh, what we need is a one-word strategy for whatever. So then they were like, okay, so you are barely adequate, you are adequate, you are this, you are that. But then that caused offence and upset some people. And then I think teachers have quit suicide because they're so upset about the scoring system or the pressure it puts them under by doing this whole scoring and stuff.
Hang on a minute. A teacher commits suicide because of a score?
Yeah.
Why, do they get a lot of flack from their boss after or something? Or their jobs on the line?
Well, I presume so. Or from the parents or I don't know. But they were talking about this and then they were saying that because obviously when you're scoring something like that, someone's performance, it's always going to be the same score. Doesn't matter how you sugarcoat it, whether it's 1 to 5, 0 to 100, terrible to exceptional. It's all, you're all grading it, aren't you? But then they were saying, oh, we're going to change this, and then they're going to do a traffic light system, and then they're going to do all these different things. And everyone was saying poor teachers and all the rest of it and the stress. And I thought, well, why is it specific to teachers? Like you don't, EHO is a whole separate topic, like
environmental health,
what you need to do in kitchens, all those things. That's a whole separate topic. But the inspection as a singular point that you know, they saying if you get a good Ofsted, and it sounds basically the same thing. If you get a good Ofsted, then they come and visit you less frequently. If you get a bad one, then it looks really bad for your school and all the rest of it. And I thought, well, that's the same as the EHO inspection, the environmental health turn up.
We get 0 to 5, but each number has a couple of words under it or a word.
Yeah, it's
adequate,
average, poor, good, exceptional.
Needs improvement, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but like I found it strange that they said, and maybe it's just because it's a public thing rather than chefs or kitchens, but they said, the stress it puts on people and things and all that. And I thought, how many stressed chefs are there in the world who, I'm sure there's a few of them that have hung themselves because of being,
well, it has
especially
happened,
we are,
doesn't it? Yeah.
Cornwall Live, you get a 0-star rating, you go straight on Cornwall Live, you go straight on Facebook, and anyone in the county's going to know. And you had this, you had that, you've got 0 stars.
Yeah.
You can't do. And a lot of the time, as a chef, it's not down to it's down to you in part, but a lot of it, it's the business owner, it's the person who says, we can't afford to repaint the thing, so you're going to have flaking paint, you're going to have this, you're going to have that. We've tried pest proofing, but money isn't there. And then they obviously, the owner disappears when the chef's left there to deal with the EHO that turns up. They turn up any old time of the day. They don't tell you they're coming. They just turn up and pull your pants down. And I just thought it was strange that there's all this media attention about Ofsted and changing it to be. And I don't think that it really matters what you word it as personally. If you want to say that it's barely adequate, or if it's 2 out of 5, or if it's below par, it all means the same thing to me. But, the fact that it was being made out that they have a real hard done by thing because it's an unannounced visit, it's like...
Well, lots of us go through those unannounced visits. In fact, in most sectors, you get some kind of inspection of some type. Anyone who works in the electricity board is going to have inspectors coming in, checking everything and checking them over, making sure they're doing everything correctly. But I've got a little question about that though. Why is it the teachers that always get the flack? Because it always seems to be, when I watched Question Time. Well, I used to be able to watch Question Time, but then I ended up just getting angry, so I don't watch it anymore because they just wind me up. So why is it that the teachers get the flack, bad teachers or teachers who aren't doing their jobs properly or are inadequate? Why is it the teachers? I remember being at school. I remember the little shits that were in the classroom, and I was one of them. Yeah, we were them as well. Yeah. I had far too much. I was far too hyperactive. I had far too much energy and testosterone and, bodily changes and all that, because you're at that age in your early teens. And I remember the hell I used to create for the teachers because I wouldn't shut up. It's like, I'm pretty sure you'd have good teachers or teachers in high regard if you brought the cane back, because the kids would soon shut up after that. The fact that the teachers can't do anything to discipline the kids anymore properly is the whole reason they're acting up. I mean,
you shut up a lot. There was a teacher in our primary school who, if you remember, came and picked you up once and he put your head through the ceiling.
Yes, it worked.
Slammed you back down that chair so hard.
Yeah, I went right through one of those ceiling tiles as well.
Yeah.
Will
you shut up? Whack, bang, slam in the seat. You were quiet for a while after that.
Yeah, I remember I was messing around so much, and one of the girls didn't like me. I think we were.
None of the girls liked you.
No, definitely not. Not with that mullet I used to wear anyway. But I remember she kicked me, so I kicked her back because you're a kid, aren't you? But he didn't see that. He only saw what I did, and that was it. I just remember being picked up with a scruff. If any police are listening, this is all allegedly. I'm not getting anyone in trouble. I deserved it. I went straight through the ceiling tile into the little attic, slammed back down on the chair. And I swear I could hear my own heartbeat. But then it
worked.
It works.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way to control young boys is just like, I don't know, run 100 laps around the playground now.
Yeah. But I don't know. The inspection part of it, it grated a bit because I just felt that they were sort of, everyone was, woe was me and poor teachers and all the rest of it. But I think how many, mental health in the hospitality industry is a big, mental health in the world's a pretty big thing, but in the hospitality industry, like you've got the Burnt Chef projects and stuff like that now, which is really focusing on it. But, that the level of stress that can be caused by environmental health rocking up and you're, and because it comes on the person that's in charge of it on the time. So if you're short-staffed or if the boss won't pay for the equipment to be repaired or all the things we've mentioned previous times, or the KP's gone sick or whatever and things, and it's like, you've already done 70 hours this week and then do you need to spend the extra 10 hours to stay and do the deep clean? Like, how you balance all those things, bits can get overlooked until the point where the inspection comes, you go, oh shit. Like, last time we had one at the our previous job, the HO came and it was like, I thought, well, probably due the HO inspection soon. it was kind of end of season. We'd had a busy run, and there'd been some shortages and things. It was like, hell up. But the paperwork side of things, that was all fine. That was all up to date. But the general cleanliness of the kitchen, I was like, right, we need to sort out some bits because we just needed a full deep clean of some bits. And I was off, but Sue was in. Yeah, CheckON chatting about things, and he sort of said, "Before you start, let me just take you over to the rotor." And he actually showed her on the rotor, or him, I think it was, showed him on the rotor and went, "Look, before you start looking," he said, "I'll show you all those things, but under the cooking stuff," he said, "you'll see here, today is Tuesday, let's say, you'll notice that on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, there's 2 extra staff on every day because it's like kitchen deep clean, all these shifts are kitchen deep clean." He's like, "So just bear that in mind." And they were fine. I went, "Oh, okay, cool. We can see that's what."
As long as you tell them
is,
what's
going on.
As long as there's a plan in place.
Yeah. Which I think that's the thing with them, isn't it? As long as you're open and honest with them, then they're fine. As soon as you start trying to bullshit them,
I've always found they're so easy to deal with. If you just say, "Look, I understand there's a problem here, and I'm going to tell you the problem before you even spot it, because I've isolated the problem. Here's my plan to get around it. It's going to take a bit of time, or we haven't got the staff, but I'm going to allocate this time at this point for that." And you can see on my road, because I don't know, just something to show that you've spotted the problem before they have, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and the fact that you actually understand it. And that was the thing they were talking about with this Ofsted stuff, because they said, look, the grades of the children that come out of the school, they said, surely that's the important thing. And they were saying, well, as a parent, do you really care? Like, the parent isn't, as long as your kids are achieving good grades and they're happy and all the rest of it, as a parent, you're not going to give a monkeys whether they're keeping up to date with all their paperwork. You're not going to care about this, and the other. All you actually care about is the result, which I suppose is the same in the food world. Like, what you want is nice food.
I'm going to say something a bit more controversial here. Well, I think it's controversial, so it probably definitely is.
Yep.
In the kitchen, you've said before, the leader is nothing without a good team behind him.
Yep.
Okay. So or her. So with Samantha,
what are you talking about women, Sam? I want to be one.
Oh, I just distorted this microphone to death and breathing in it. Yep. If you've got a classroom of kids,
yep,
and 6 out of the 20 or whatever, or 6 out of 30, now how should we describe them?
Unruly
teens. Yeah, just absolute trash. Yep. I'm going to mince my words. Absolute trash.
Yep.
In our day, it was smoking fags behind the green shed or something like that. Now I don't know. I think they're dealing cocaine now. I don't know what they're doing, but everything's ramped up.
A 15-year-old stabbed another one in the classroom.
Oh yeah, they're stabbing each other now because they're all listening to gangster rap, but no one makes that connection between making gangsterism cool and actually.
And the computer games are playing as well, but
Well, we had that in the 90s, and I don't remember doing any Mortal Kombat.
I mean, I don't think they were quite not quite the same level, but
yeah, they weren't that military one. What's that called? COD. What does that stand for?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. Yeah, we didn't have that kind of level. I mean, I was pushing question marks up in boxes with an Italian plumber. If you just remove those little shits from the class and put them in a boot camp like they have in America for unruly teens, where military officers just shout at them to try and discipline them, and kept that out of the classroom, surely the whole classroom experience would go up. And the teachers would be much more successful with getting through to all kids. There'd be no distractions and all of that. It's like either you work hard or you're going to boot camp. And you ain't going to want to go to boot camp and be screamed at all day. So surely...
Are you sure you haven't got a bit of the older Chinese Shengguang?
Well, I'm either a communist or a fascist. Let's just try and work out where I'm going here. But
Wouldn't
that work?
To a point.
The same in the kitchen? The same in the kitchen if
but it's choice, isn't it?
All the dead weight.
It's a choice, though, isn't it? Like school, you don't really have a choice; you're stuck there. Whereas kitchen, you got a bit more of a choice. They used to do an industry week down at CheckON College, and they'd asked me to go in and do as a chef in the local area who went to CheckON College, etc. Who obviously very successful and all the rest of it. And so I went in, and I was there at the front, and I was doing it. I think it was with another chef. I might have been on my own. Can't remember. Anyway, I was doing a demo, chatting to these kids and whatever. And you could tell the ones that were actually interested in cooking, they were sitting in the front, they were asking a few questions and stuff. And there was the knobheads at the back, and it was like, they
didn't want to be there.
They didn't care. And they were they were chatting a bit. And there was a couple of, I was like, guys, shut up a minute and, explaining something. And then one of them was getting more and more lippy. And I was like, right, I said, excuse me, mate, can you do a favour? Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
He's like, sorry? I said, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You can't talk to me like that. I said, well, I can. I said, this is called Industry Week. I said, let me give you a little insight into industry. I said, you might be the cool kid here in the college, and I don't know you, I don't really care. I said, great, lovely. You're up there with your mates. Cool. I said, I was a knobhead when I was at college. It's fine, I understand it. I said, but in industry, if you go in with that attitude, you're not going to get very far. Someone's going to tell you to shut up.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you to get out. I said, yeah, whatever. And I said, it's actually my birthday today. Not now, that was on the podcast a few weeks ago, but on the day I was in there doing it, I said, it's my birthday. I said, I've come in, I don't get paid for this. I've come in to sort of talk to you lot, to try and inspire you, to talk about things, to give an insight. I came to this college years ago, all the rest of it. I said, so if you don't want to listen, I said, I don't care. You can get up and fuck off. He's like, can I? I said, yeah, fine, I'm going to. Go for it. Off you go. You go away, then we can all carry on with our day. Fine, go, and it's boring anyway. Cool. So he gets up, and it's like a theatre like you see in the American style thing, because Cornwall College want to be all cool. So he starts walking down the stairs from this theatre seating at the back, coming towards me. And then the head of catering opens the door and comes in. And he was the head when I was there, and I used to shit my pants when he came in as well. And he walks in, and let's go with his name was Johnson. I don't know what his name was. He's like, Johnson, why are you in a seat? Get down, sit down. Sorry, sir, sit down. I said, oh, no. He was just leaving. What do you mean he was leaving? I said, well, apparently what I was explaining was really fucking boring. He goes, was it? I said, yeah. I said, so I told him he can leave. He said, oh, okay. He's like, Johnson, my office, now. And this guy, you see his ball triggering, out he goes and ran off. He's like, right. He said, we get guests in who are chefs, who have given up their day off to come in and explain stuff to you. Give them the courtesy of listening, you might actually learn something. Shut up, get on with it. And off he goes. And I was like, anybody else got anything else they want to say, or can we carry on? And from that minute on, everyone else was paying perfect attention, asking questions. It was like, so it did work.
Yeah.
It was, he thought he was being Billy Big Balls. And I said, no, mate, you can go. It's fine. Off you go. Yeah. And he was striding down the stairs till he saw him. Oh, sorry, sir.
Yeah.
But Kevin and Perry it was. Sorry, Mr. Patterson. But yeah, I mean, teachers do have it hard, but then I think all industries have it hard. And like you say, all industries get inspected for stuff, and it's always an unplanned visit. It's always, they turn up, they're going to pull everything apart.
But then again, am I going to say something else that's going to rage people up? Isn't a little bit of hardship good? Isn't a bollocking or two good? Everyone seems to shy away from getting a bollocking these days, but I think it cleans out the cobwebs, especially when you get really angry about it yourself as well. Oh, what's he on about? And then you have time to think about it, and you think, well, he's probably got a bit of a point.
Yeah.
But sometimes a bollocking's good. I think, when one of my previous favourite head chefs, we all know him because I love him to death, used to go ape shit at me, but he knew that I used to feed off that energy. It's not nice at the time, but it does make you, like, it just clears your mind completely. Oh, it gets the adrenaline going.
Because otherwise you can just become complacent and just everything's...
You need your ego bruised a bit now and again.
Yeah.
But the problem is that most industries now, if you say that, you get disciplinary.
Well, yeah.
You get called into HR for bullying. It's like, well, sometimes bullying's good. That's a short, isn't it?
Sometimes bullying's good.
Sometimes a bit of bullying's good. I think some...
that's not bullying though, is it? If you're giving someone a bit of stick about bettering what they're doing, like, that's not bullying. That's just directly telling someone, you need to be better at this. And like, the environmental health coming in and saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. Like, I had a whole conversation with the HO last visit I had, and they were talking about rice, and they said, right, rules have changed on rice. And it's like, basically, just day of production plus one and then bin it. And I was like, well...
What a waste.
It's like making risotto bases and stuff. And it's like, so I'm making risotto base every other day now. Yep. It's a pain. So then you think, well, okay, I won't bother having a risotto on the menu, because if I've got to throw it away the next day, I'm not going to make it to order, because making it to order will take too long in a restaurant.
But some of the chicken breasts are full, packed with water. They have a low density, shall I say. How are they not getting binned after a day then? If rice is there and it's highly absorbent of bacteria or whatever reason they're given behind it, why is chicken not the same then?
Whereas chicken's raw, you're going to cook it, aren't you? Whereas the rice obviously has been cooked.
But it's been cooked and then it's been cooled quick and then it's in
Don't you know about spore-forming bacteria? Bacillus cereus? Come on.
No,
I'm supposed to know this stuff.
No, I'm not sure if I remember. All that I know is if I keep rice there for 3 days, it will be fine.
Not when for the HO.
Well, let's try it, shall we? Should we cook some rice down there tonight? I'll put it in the fridge. And if the EHO's right, if I eat that on the second day, I should be very sick.
No, but the problem is that people don't cool rice down properly. They cook it, And I think this strays more towards our Oriental friends and their restaurants, but they cook their rice, they don't call it properly.
Darren, you're not stereotyping, are you? We get banned for that, which I'm more than happy with.
They just cook more rice. But you cook your rice, you don't cool it down properly, it stays in a warm area and you do what you want and whatever. And then you get spore-forming bacteria and then you don't chill it properly. Then if you don't reheat it properly and hot enough to kill all the spores, then all of a sudden you become quite ill. That's the problem. And obviously, I mean, it does make sense that as they look at how things progress, where food poisoning cases come from, obviously people come into hospital or the doctors with the squirts, whatever, and they say you've got food poisoning, it's from this, and they trace it back. And if they're seeing more and more and more of it is from rice, then they're going to have to clamp down on rice, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like I bored you before with chicken, but the old salmonella issues that are no longer an issue really because salmonella doesn't exist, but Campylobacter is a much bigger issue because now there's tons of it everywhere. But then Campylobacter is killed at a lower temperature, so therefore it doesn't really matter so much because as long as you're not serving pink chicken, then it doesn't really matter and nobody cares.
As long as it's cooked all the way through, yeah, fair point. But then I've never really got arsey about these regulations that come out anyway, because they've been born out of somewhere. All right, there are some regulations that are ridiculous. With the signs, mind your head, you have to have it or you get sued. I mean, it's just absurd. Look where you're going. But a lot of these regulations are there as a result of something bad happening or quite a few bad things happening. Yeah,
and they look at that stuff and go, well, actually, this is a problem we're seeing more problems from whatever the product is or whatever the thing is. And I mean, the wife yesterday went shopping and she bought some baked beans, lovely. She got the tin back home. I was like, sorry, you didn't notice this tin of beans is buckled, like properly buckled. She goes, well, I'm sure it wasn't that when I picked it up. I said, well, let's not put that in the cupboard, let's she was going to chuck it straight in the bin, but you know me, I'm tight as a duck's arse. So I was like, well, let me just leave it here. And next time you go shopping, take that tin back with you and go, I bought this the other day. Look at them, knackered. Can I swap for another tin of beans?
Oh, you really are. What were they, 14 pence?
I'm not entirely sure. But
must have pained you to be able to take that back.
I was like, well, just leave them on the side there. It's fine. Anyway, fast forward a few hours, sitting in bed, having a chat. This noise, I thought, what was that noise? And the cat comes bolting up the stairs. Oh, strange. So I walk down the stairs, cat comes down with me, and the tin has exploded. Like, there's beans everywhere. So I've now got beans all up the wall in the kitchen. That needs a repaint. It's all over the coffee machine. It's everywhere. There's beans everywhere.
Not the latte machine.
And I was like, but now we can go back, sue them now. That's it. They're going down. Give us our dodgy beans. Could have killed my kids. But yeah, it was just a tin of slightly punctured baked beans that's fermented and just gone bang.
Oh, God. Yeah, so moral of the story, Ofsted.
Moral of the story is Ofsted. I mean, the EHO, we're going to get some EHO quizzes on the go at some point because we had a whole thing. And obviously you need them.
I want to get an EHO on the phone as well.
We can get that. That's fine. But yeah, Ofsted, we feel for you, but then we get the same.
Yeah.
Everyone gets it.
It's in our industry as well.
And we get the Cornwall Live stories and was it last summer where it was like everyone was just like, and another 0-star in Cornwall, and another 0-star in Cornwall, and it's like, yeah. But problem is that there's shortage of chefs, shortage of people know what they're doing, shortage of money, costs are tight, and like I think people assume that a lot of it is just chefs being lazy or people not bothering doing stuff, and it's like there's a small degree of that, but a lot of it is just there's not the bodies, there's not the time, there's not everything that you need. And something invariably suffers. It's either the cost of what you're doing, like how much you're spending on wages, how many hours you're having to work, how much stuff you're throwing in the bin, wastage, food costs. It's something always has to give somewhere because there's never the perfect balance.
No.
Unless maybe you get that software that Adam was talking about that does all your ordering and then you're not going to have any wastage.
We're going to cover that at some point.
Yeah, but anyway, that's it. If you get an Ofsted inspection soon, best of luck to you. I'm sure you'll have a lovely time. What are we doing for this?
Oh, God, I can't remember. I'm still thinking,
I remember.
I'm still thinking about Ofsted.
So I can't remember. We're on dessert, aren't we?
Oh, yes. Right. Emails.
Yeah. Shall we start this bit again?
Let's just try that again.
Check on dessert. Now, Scott, I've forgotten the emails.
We've got one email.
One email.
And
Right.
you know what? I'm not even sure if I'm going to read it. What's the point? One email a week, if I'm lucky, and that's without me shouting at people to send me something. We don't charge. And this is directed to the people at home now. If you've already sent in, that's fine. But I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the other ones. If you're listening to the show, you can't even be bothered to pick up your phone. Most of you have got anxiety anyway because you're using your phones too much. How about diverting about 5 minutes of that time on your phone to emailing us and actually make an effort? We don't charge for this. We're doing it out of our own time and our own budget, which I think I've paid you back for now, haven't I? So just bloody write in. Anyway.
2 letters for checkon@hotmail.com.
That's why I've not been writing in because I've been telling them the email because I could never remember it.
Yeah.
All roads lead back to me.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right. Let's have a look here then. So
you agree?
Oh, I agree totally.
Yeah.
I mean, how many hours? If you're listening to this now, click on the bit on your phone that says screen time, whatever thing.
Yeah.
See how many hours this day, this week you spent on your phone.
Yeah.
And I think, why don't I just write? Because everyone's got an amusing story.
Yeah.
And we were lucky that on one week we got 3 emails that came in. So I mean, we could spread them over a couple of weeks, but. We're going to have to start phoning around and bothering people, or we just won't bother doing the podcast anymore and we'll just cry into each other's arms.
We're going to destroy everything because that's the only way we know how to express our anger.
We go to one of those rage rooms and smash stuff up. But we have got an email, so that's right. An email? Email.
Right.
Good. So, let's have a look. Dave. Yes, right.
So this is from Dave, is it?
This is from Dave. Right. So it doesn't actually say an awful lot. I'm going to have to ad-lib this as I go. Basically what it says is, remember that place that me and you used to work together, and the owner of the restaurant owned a few other restaurants, and one of them had an unfortunate incident that led to him being on the front cover of The Sun. The title of this email is Ratatouille. So, I'll back for you on this one.
I was going to say, can I... did I work there?
You worked in the restaurant that I worked in at the time, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And
that narrows it down in my mind. Who or what?
So the guy who owned the restaurant, he owns quite a lot of stuff. He's a big mover and shaker in the world. Owning stuff. And he owned a group of restaurants and pubs in London. And he basically ended up on the front cover of the Sun newspaper, which is always a place you want to be.
Britain's favourite newspaper.
And I can't remember if it said Ratatouille on there, to be honest. It might have been on the name of the thing. But what had happened was there was somebody sitting in his restaurant in London, which was quite a high-end restaurant, and they were sitting there eating a bowl of soup, tomato, I think, when a baby rat fell from the ceiling and landed in the bowl of soup.
Oh, my God.
So there's a photograph on the front of the Sun of a baby rat drowning in some soup. I think it was a dead rat, as I recall. Not entirely sure.
Just fell from the ceiling.
Somebody was sat there eating their lunch and a rat fell from the ceiling. Straight in the bowl. Which, was quite... he's quite a, what's the word? Ballsy kind of a guy. So something like that's got to damage your reputation and stuff. And he's like, no such thing as bad publicity. I'm like, they say that. I mean, people do say no such thing as bad. No such thing. I mean, a dead baby rat falling in a customer's soup. It's got to be some level of that's a bad thing. But
I remember when I was looking at, when I used to be into politics quite a bit, and I would look through every...
When you used to be into politics? Well, when have you not been into politics?
I can't watch any of it anymore because they'll just wind me up. But I would go through each and every party and listen to their broadcast and what they want to do and all that. And I remember on, I can't remember what outfit, it was UKIP that Farage was in. He said, I don't care if they hate me as long as they're talking about me. And that kind of resonated in my head. Like, well, you don't care about everyone hating you, but I guess it's better to be noticed than no one to speak about you.
I mean, everyone knows Nigel Farage, so.
Oh, Ferrari.
Lewis Hamilton's gone to race for Ferrari this season.
Oh, no. I don't want to talk about F1 at the moment. So
Ferrari's value went up 7% on the stock market today.
So is that what this owner's on about? It's better to have a story that's crushing to your restaurant rather than no one speaking about you at all?
Yeah.
Okay. How is that good?
I don't know. That's what he enjoyed it, I suppose.
Gets people talking about that place.
Yeah, I suppose.
Hey, we're doing well. I don't have to beep any of this stuff out. And I mean, I forget half the time anyway.
Yeah, it's not been offensive to anybody and it hasn't mentioned many places.
Yeah, I don't think I've offended a single person in this one, have I? I probably have, actually. If I listen back, there's probably going to be a few bits like, oh, keep that in anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. He obviously thought that was publicity, so didn't mind that much. I suppose if it's an old building in London, I think the rules are different in London from what I understand, that, if there's a rat running around in the kitchen, or a rat is seen in a restaurant and stuff in London, it's kind of given a bit of a blind eye, whereas in Cornwall it'd be like more of an issue that there's a rat. I mean, there are rats around in Cornwall obviously as well, but in London I think it's like, well, yeah.
They're everywhere, aren't they? Yeah.
You're in London, they're everywhere. But I mean, a baby one falling in your soup.
Oh, can you imagine that? Oh, this is a delicious broccoli and Stilton. Wallop.
I wonder if that's a vegan rat. Yeah, it was only fed on corn.
Oh my God. It must have been dead, so it was rotting in the ceiling as well.
Yeah. But not going to be nice in your soup, is it? But I mean, there's not much to go on that email apart from that, because that is what happened.
I can envisage it.
I remember the situation, but I have to Google it in a minute, see if I can find the picture, because it was quite...
We'll see if we can attach it to our social media stuff. I'm not that savvy with it. Our new manager still isn't up and running with the stuff yet. So
slack, if I'm honest.
Oh, she's so slack. So when I remember it, I'll get to it and I'll put the picture up.
Yeah, all right, fine. So I think that's pretty much most things are wrapped up.
All right, a lot easier one this week.
That's a short one, isn't it?
Well, we don't want to be long all the time.
Well, no, true. Got things to do. I mean, at one point, we might even get an episode finished before we hit midnight, but it's unlikely, isn't it? Let's face it.
We'll be going for 40 minutes.
Oh, okay, fine. Well,
yeah, that's all right. And yeah.
Good, right. So we need to send some emails to let us check on.
Send your mail in and stop being so whingy.
Who's whingy?
I said, I don't want them to. No, why did I just say that? I don't want them to be whingy.
Well, they're not being whingy. They're not sending emails.
I'm whinging.
You're whinging.
I'm whinging because we're not getting enough letters. So ask anything.
I'll tell you what we could do.
Anything. You can just insult us if you want.
What we'll do is we will list. You can do a list of all the people that listen to the podcast and their frequency and whatever on the thing and such. And then anyone that's listened to it who hasn't sent us an email, to letters for CheckOnHotmail.com, we'll just start ringing them all on the regular, all the time.
Yeah, and we'll do it at the most inappropriate time, 1:05.
What, AM?
Yeah.
All right. Good. Well, I think that is most of it covered. And see you on the flip-flop next week for more exciting goings-ons.
I was a little bit late with the editing on for this one, trying to get it on time. So it was into Monday, but I will try and keep it in on Sunday.
I suppose the other thing we could say is that on the letters for CheckOnHotmail.com, which we kind of cocked up it with Dave Etz last week, but if there's something you'd like us to discuss as a topic, as a starter, as a main
suggestions
course. I mean, moose bouches are just going to be a little quip, and the dessert's always going to be someone's email. But if you've got an idea of things that need discussing, just let us know. What? He's back on again.
I've got to put that on a loop, really.
I quite liked it just then, but there. Send us some ideas of things you need discussing. And then if you want to get on the line, let us know and we'll make sure we schedule a call and get you on.
All right.
Right, that's it. Bored of your voice, bored of my voice. Happy Christmas. See, it's Valentine's next week. Don't forget to get the significant other a card, some chockies, and some flowers.
Darren, I'm running out of music here. This thing's
I'm just trying to get you to run out so we go dry.
There we go again.
And we're done.
Oh, anyway. Right, well...
No, that's it. Keep it going. You've got to go again now.
No, I'm not keeping going. Anyway, that's it. So we'll see you next week.
It's like when I was learning to mix and on the outros when it just keeps going and you can't mix the next track in because it's just this repetitive noise that's coming over the top of it.
Just turn your voice down. I think I might just do that instead. Anyway.
Fade me out.
See you next week.
Good night.